there's quite a few different ways people come through this corner. And a lot of the times they pick the roughest spot of the corner to go to. And they do that lap after lap. So the idea, although this corner is very simple in the grand scheme of things, having a line selection before and for your exit is going to be very important to try to stay out of that rough, choppy stuff. The longer you moto, the harder it's going to be able to do that hill consistently without falling off the back of the bike, getting kicked around. So first off, I'll talk about this coming down this hill a little bit. I'd be curious to see before I say something how you guys come down here, but I'll just give it away. You're going to want to be in a taller gear coming down a rough downhill like this. No matter what kind of hill it is, you should always be in a taller gear. It's going to make the bike a lot more settled and controllable. If you're coming down this hill in second gear, yeah, second gear on any bike, really. The bike's going to be really unsettled. It's going to be bouncing around a lot. You're probably going to feel really uncomfortable hitting some of these bigger bumps, actually. The bike might kick a little harder. Just certain things like that. So make sure your gear taller. I think most of that group was just in fourth gear coming down this hill. 450, is it at 450? 250? I think that's the biggest bike here, right? Well, these two, 300 and 250. Okay. So I think fourth gear for you guys as well. And then as you're coming down in fourth gear, you stay in fourth gear all the way till the entrance of the corner. I would say you can probably get your downshift about right here to a third to get this uphill. The reason you don't downshift early is if you're downshifting on bumps, the bike's gonna kind of get some wheel chatter and it's gonna start getting that reactive feeling again. So you wanna get through the main big bumps, being in the taller gear, having the chassis super settled, and allowing the bike to kind of do the work. Then you shift down to third, and then you can power up that hill. Should I take the 85? Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'll demonstrate coming through in the tall gear like I was talking about, and then I'll demonstrate being in too low of a gear and seeing how the bike kind of reacts and how it sounds, okay? Actually, I'll do that in reverse. I'll do the low gear first, and then the higher gear second.
Hey guys, holiday season, so we're giving stuff away. If you spend $200 or more at tour.themotoacademy.com, sign up for a class. We just dropped a bunch of new tour dates on the website. Sign up for a class or spend $200 or more on apparel, and we're gonna toss in signed gear. By signed gear, I mean pants. We've got pants every single color. I'll attach a note with the race that I wore them at and the story behind them. We've got butt patches on some of them. Super cool stuff. Tossed in with orders, $200 or more. Tour.themotoacademy.com. Back to the video.
Hopefully they can see the difference between riding a gear taller, coming down a rough downhill, and the difference between riding a gear too low, coming down a downhill. Bike's very reactive when you're in a low gear, and it's a lot smoother when you're in a tall gear. All right, did you guys see the first time through I was in like second gear? Bike was like pinging, almost maxing out, and I wasn't even on the gas. So if I was going a little bit faster and I was probably his size, the bike would probably be bouncing around quite a bit. I kind of just want to mention this real quick. My heels were hitting the ground when I was coming down the hill because I was obviously really heavy on the bike. But my feet were so tight that it didn't matter. My feet were so tight, my heels are hitting the ground, but they were still locked in there. If my feet were loose like this, my heel would have hit the ground and blew my leg off instantly, okay? Keep that in mind as well. These bumps aren't quite that big for bigger bikes to do that, but some tracks are like that. In such big bumps where your heels are almost touching the ground, or if you're landing a big jump, your heel could graze the ground. If you're in the wrong position, that foot might just get yanked off, maybe both feet at the same time. So keep that in mind as well.